Hi, I'm Lee Kricher, the president of the Pittsburgh Leadership Foundation, and we're all about equipping and connecting and mobilizing leaders of our city for the common good. And I'm really honored today to be joined by Anna Hollis. Anna is the executive director of Amachi Pittsburgh, one of the great not-for-profits of our city. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that is very relevant for you, whether you're a leader or whatever aspect of your life it's going to be relevant to, because we're talking about building and sustaining trusting relationships. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you so much, Lee. It's good to be with you.
Tell us a little bit about your organization, Amachi Pittsburgh, and your role there.
Okay, so Amachi is a nonprofit that works to empower young people and their families who are affected by parental incarceration. And we've been around since 2003. Amachi is actually a Nigerian Igbo word that means who knows what God has brought us through this child. So speaks to the inherent value that we believe all children have, regardless of their family circumstances. And our work is to really make that investment in young people so that not only that they realize their potential, but that they, we as a community become engaged in that work and really build strong networks around kids.
And so the primary people that you're serving are the children of those who are incarcerated? Or
Yes, children and the custodial parent. We also do some work with the incarcerated parent when they're ready to return home, strengthen those family ties so that when they re-enter society, they have some supports in place.
That's awesome. In what ways does your faith inspire your work, Anna?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have to say that my faith is really, I think, probably the reason I do this work. I so believe that God has created each of us for a specific and special purpose. And sometimes, folks don't realize it. They don't realize what that purpose is. They don't necessarily connect with the reality that we are all here for a purpose. And so I think it's just, it's a personal conviction of mine to serve others and to help. And, I think I've been blessed with, the ability to, have a vision, see what's possible, and to work to bring together all of the various parts that we need to make our vision come to reality. So that's I'd have to say that it's really a basis for my work.
That's awesome. And I guess if living out our faith means living out our purpose, that's exactly what you're doing. But I love the fact that you're helping to bring out the purpose in the lives of others as well. And, to this topic of trust, I know that you've talked about with the, your staff, your mentors, your
Yeah.
mentees,
Mhm.
how important trust is. Can you talk about why and a little bit about that?
Yeah. There's nothing we can do at Amachi without trust. I mean, nothing about our work and our mission could be, carried out successfully without trust. It is, it's a fundamental value of any relationship. Trust is, and that's what our core work is about. I mean, all of our work is about it's mentoring, it's serving, and in order to develop those a healthy mentoring relationship and a co-working relationship with our team members, and even in my role as a leader, you can't build a relationship without trust. It's just a fundamental value. And, when you think about the children that we serve and, whose parents have been away, and in many cases, parents have been in and out of prison, which means they've been in and out of their children's lives. And so that sort of, causes children to put up a wall where they're less trusting of other adults in their world, just because they haven't been able to rely on that key figure, that parent, in their life. And so, so when we are introducing a mentoring, relationship to a child, it's like the the number one priority is to start building trust. And yeah.
Yeah. And, are there particular things that you try to do to build trust? Because trust is not uh, something that you can easily be given or required of someone. It's something that has to be built. And so, are there some things that you do, and whether it's different with children or with the adults or staff you're
Mhm.
working with?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with our, mentors and our staff, we provide a training, so so everyone understands how the mentoring relationship, should be established and should be sustained over time. Um, throughout our organization, constantly, it's a part of our discussion. I think it's embedded in our work. We are implementing a sanctuary model, which is it's a trauma-based model that helps to equip people who serve populations that have experienced trauma. But what's really rooted in those commitments associated with that model is, open communication. Um, and I think that is where trust begins to build. And I think that open communication, being honest, being open, being transparent, being vulnerable starts with you. So if you are building relationships with someone else, I think rather than thinking about, how do I, you know, get this person to trust me, to know me, it's how do I learn to trust this person? And it's like taking risks. So in the very beginning, you're I think you have to be open about who you are, some of your personal experiences, your interests, that kind of thing. You start setting the stage and create that space for, you know vulnerability, and for just, openness, and open conversations to happen.
Yeah. So, when you talk about communication, openness, vulnerability, transparency,
Mhm.
these are things I've experienced as well as being really big trust builders. And so
Mhm.
these are high priorities for you in building those trusting relationships.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I mean, I think also, like, being there and doing what you say you're going to do. Something I had to learn, and this took me a long time, like embarrassingly a long time to learn, is ensuring that you're intentional about backing up, your verbal commitments. So something I have always said to my staff is, my door is always open, come in, talk to me. If there are issues, just please, talk, or if you just want to brainstorm and, whatever, my door is open. And that's one thing. But I think because I'm so busy all the time and just, running, and pre-COVID, I'd be in the office for an hour, out for a meeting, back in, back out. It was just constantly moving around. And learned that didn't make, my team members feel comfortable coming into my office or slowing me down, and so instead of just saying I'm available and I'm open and I'm here for you, I had to take that next step and say, hey, let's schedule some time to just have a one-on-one, and so it really does help for me to take that step to schedule the time on our calendars, rather than leaving the responsibility on them to, sort of track me down. So that was, I thought that, I think that is like something that was very helpful in my world. And then I think the part two of that is when we have those conversations is making sure that it's not always work related and goal oriented. Like it can just be getting to know each other and just how you're doing, a check-in on how you're doing it, and then opening myself up too and talking about, things that are going on in my world.
Awesome. I'm going to ask you one more question, but before I do, if people want to find out more about Amachi Pittsburgh, what's the best way for them to do
Ooh, yay, I like that. Yeah. Let's see. Don't stop in the office.
that?
You can check out our website. It's Amachi, AMACHIPGH.org. Our number is 412-281-1288. So, it's a little tricky these days, but, we think this is working. You call our office line and it'll ring to one of our team members' cell phone numbers.
Well, thank you so much for being one of the leaders of our city who is really, really making a difference, Anna. And
Thank
so
you.
here's a question. As you know, we have an emerging leaders collaborative of young leaders. We have a leaders collaborative of experienced leaders that PLF sponsors. You're actually a graduate of our leaders collaborative.
Yeah.
If you're just going to give a few words of advice, and you've already shared some great insights to these leaders about how they can best just leave them with a few thoughts on building and sustaining trusting relationships, what would be some final thoughts?
Yeah, I think be intentional, be very thoughtful about what building trust means for you. It's not the same for everyone. Because you have to be honest with yourself about what some of your own hangups are. So make sure that you spend some time with yourself and really understanding the best way for you to approach building a trusting relationship. I think being authentic, just be real, just be who you are. Like I think um, I honestly think just being authentic and vulnerable with someone else really relaxes the shoulders. It just brings those defenses down. And just, I feel more comfortable if you're going to be honest with me. I feel more comfortable being honest with you. So I think, like, if you're modeling the behavior that you want to see and experience with others, then I think you'll be in good shape.
Well, thanks so much, Anna. May God bless your work and your ministry. And for all of you listening and watching, join us next week as well for Leadership Essentials to get some more insights about life and leadership.